Hi, I'm Ken Lee with Competitive Group. Today I'm joined with the authors of the top 5 blog posts in 2012. And we're gathered here to learn a little bit about what inspired them to write these posts, maybe what they learned, and also what they were thinking when they were writing these posts. The fifth one was about personalized medicine. Rachel and Eric went to the Biocom conference in San Diego to learn a little bit about personalized medicine, some of the hurdles that stand in the way. Rachel, there were hurdles that you mentioned in the blog post. What was the move, though? Something we couldn't get from the blog post. Was there a sense of optimism, or is it really that these hurdles are going to be difficult to overcome?
I would definitely say that despite the amount of hurdles we still need to meet for personalized medicine to become, more than just a promise, the mood was definitely optimistic. It's a fair assessment to say that, we could benefit, our generation will benefit from, personalized medicine, and it's not something that's going to happen, centuries down the line. We're talking, decades, and we're actually already seeing, the early stages of it in the clinic. So I would definitely say that leaving that meeting, everyone was excited, and despite the hurdles, it's in a sense of optimism that personalized medicine is more than just a promise, and it is a reality.
The fourth post was Rudolph, mutant, drunk, or marketing genius. Surprising that this ranked so highly because it was written towards the end of the year in December. Michael, what allowed this post to connect to our audience?
Great question. I think, truthfully, it was just the fact that it met all of the key demographics of our blog readers. It was highly scientific. It was going through all of the stages of how Rudolph could get his red nose, and then it was also tied in at the end by marketing. So I think people just really resonated to it, and people who probably don't read our blog often still found this post to be interesting to them just because of the amount of science that was involved in it.
Well, actually, the number 3 post was literally the most interesting post in the world, written by Rachel as a satirical view at press releases and how they're written today. What was kind of the motivation or inspiration behind this post, Rachel?
I think the main motivation for doing this press release was really to show, that, the press release has been around since the beginning, of the 1900s, and yet, we still continue to use jargon and overuse words in press releases. And while we've seen a lot of marketing and PR sites have, compiled their list of those most overused words over the years, we wanted to kind of take that and add a visual element to it and do something different with it. So that's kind of how we came up with the idea of creating this mock press release. The PR team had come up with a list of keywords, that we often see, and in that we, inserted those words in the mock press release. And it was kind of the idea then to play off of the Dos Equis most interesting man in the world ads. It's something recognizable, and it's also really funny and pokes fun at itself, which is exactly what we wanted to do with this post. Where even, we're guilty of overusing some of these words. So we wanted to have a fun way to show, that this is something that is still a problem, in the PR and marketing industry as a whole, and something we need to be more mindful of.
Number 2, the spitting image of personalized medicine takes us back to that theme we've discussed before. In this case, Kelly exchanged or got her personal genetic tests, and part of the reason people take these tests is to become empowered with the information that they glean from these tests. Besides learning about being a slow caffeine metabolizer, Kelly, what have you put into action? Are you drinking less caffeine now?
Yeah, I have been trying to cut back on my caffeine, but it hasn't been a huge priority for me. I did make an appointment with an eye doctor to talk about one of the diseases that I was at highest risk for, which was a type of glaucoma, and I'm in the clear. I just generally have found it really interesting to know all of this genetic information about myself, and I also thought that it was pretty interesting that when I did present my information, my genetic information to my doctor, he had never seen a test before, and I thought that that was indicative of the challenge that still exists in translating all of this personal genetic information into the clinic. So overall, it was a great experience, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for a little bit more insight on their genetic makeup.
Excellent. The top post of 2012, what can food trucks teach us about social media marketing, shows that life science marketers are still hungry over learning about social media marketing. Michael, you've looked at the analytics. What does that tell us about how this came to be ranked as the top post in 2012?
Great question. It was, written early in the year, so it's had the longest time to get traffic. But surprisingly, the people who have been linking to the post continue to do so, even in the latter months of the year. Originally, the intent, I think, was to show us what food trucks can teach us about social media marketing, and that's kind of how the title was written, because typically food trucks, that's their primary way to market themselves. But in reality, I think a lot of the posts that we saw coming, a lot of the viewers that we saw coming in, they were actually food truck operators themselves looking on how they could better their own social media marketing efforts. So, I think it was a great post from the marketing standpoint, but, we got a continued stream of people from a lot of different areas looking at that title.
Everyone, thanks for your thoughts. If you're a life science marketer or a food truck operator who wants to learn more about social media, feel free to follow us on Chemunity or sign up for a Community Spirit newsletter. Thank you.